Got any cheese? Oh, hey everyone, welcome back to another Scooby-Doo review, where I talk about the latest episodes of Scooby-Doo and Guess Who, and we have some really good episodes to talk about this week. We have the episode where Scooby-Doo teams up with Penn and Teller, famous street musicians, and Steve Urkel, a character from the sitcom Family Matters, played by the one and only Jaleel White, who I personally know more for his role as Sonic the Hedgehog in the old cartoons from the 90s. Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic's at AM, Sonic Underground. But let's start from the beginning here. Here we have finally some decent mysteries. I didn't know right away who the bad guy was, and they hide it pretty well. There's spoilers as always, but the Penn and Teller episode, we kind of begin at kind of an interesting backdrop. A hotel in Las Vegas, of all places, and the place is like set to blow up for demolition in like the morning, and Scooby and the gang, along with Penn and Teller, are invited by this reclusive billionaire or something to spend the night there. And if they manage to spend the whole night there without getting scared off, then he'll give them like $1,000,000, which is just insane. And finally, I kind of know these characters. Well, they're not really characters; they're real life people. Penn and Teller, they're pretty famous magicians. They kind of have like this whole act. I think they also they have like this series where they kind of show how magic tricks are performed, and you get to see a bit of that. Teller doesn't talk, which they it's pretty funny, especially here in Scooby Doo. And Penn, he's kind of the skeptic, seen it all before, and Teller's always like trying to pulling these tricks, and Penn's just like, oh, that old trick, I've seen it 1,000,000 times, and he just kind of wants like one of these hoaxes and stuff to be real, and it kind of relating to the Scooby Gang a bit, and that's pretty cool. And then they're like locked into the hotel, and which is still like rigged to go off in the morning. And then of course, the monster shows up. They find out that things aren't quite what they seem, and they encounter like the ghost of this other Las Vegas performer magician, and like then he turns himself into like this monster rabbit. And I gotta give props to him, because I've said in previous episodes, the mystery in most of these Scooby-Doo and Guess Who episodes just has not been all that great. So it was very, very interesting to see. I couldn't quite nail who it was, because you have the shady billionaire guy, you have this other character that's lurking in the shadows, and you're thinking, okay, well, it's either the billionaire or it's that shady person who's probably just meant to throw you off. And then there's a twist here. But you get all these cool little gags and magic tricks, like Teller's impressing Shaggy and Scooby by pulling like food out of various parts of them. And they're just like, ooh, and. Then you see Penn team up with Velma, and that's kind of nice, because they're both they seem to be both like kind of the skeptics of the groups, of their respective groups. But yeah, overall very solid episode. I really liked the ending, because they really threw me for a loop, because turns out that the bad guy was Teller. And then, and of course, they unmask him, and then he's not speaking. And they're like, "You did all of this?" He's like, "You were the monster and the ghost and everything?" And then Scooby's like, you pulled a birthday cake out of my belly button? How does Scooby-Doo have a belly button? Do dogs have belly buttons? This is something I need to know. Do dogs have belly buttons? Please tell me. I mean, that's just weird, man. That's just weird. But Teller speaks up, which is kind of a bit of a big deal because he doesn't really talk during their performances, in real life and stuff. And so it was kind of interesting to see him talk, and he kind of explains why he did it. Because early in the episode, Penn is just like kind of depressed that he never has like a real scare, like a real magic trick or anything. That everything, he's seen it all before. It's always fake, and he's just kind of tired of that. So Tyler wanted to give him put on this performance that would convince Penn that it was real. And he made him really think that there was this monster rabbit and that Teller had actually died because the building exploded. They barely got out of there. And Penn's just like, oh, the old set up a fake contest in a hotel with a monster rabbit trick, seen it 1,000,000 times. And to be fair, I think there have been plenty of mysteries where the king has gone to Las Vegas in hotels, so I've actually seen something like this once or twice, but then he's just like, I'm just kidding, man! That was great! Thanks! And then at the very end, Teller still writes up the gang that $1,000,000 check because they did participate. But then Fred goes on and just rips up the check, saying, technically, Mr. Teller, you were the very last one out of the building, so the $1,000,000 belongs to you. And then the gang is right behind Fred, and they are miffed. Let's just say miffed. And Daphne's just like, the whole Boy Scout honesty thing is cute and all, Fred, but maybe you want to consult with the rest of us before you just give up $1,000,000? They're just mad at him. Yeah, Fred. Yeah. You talk to your friends before you go and give up $1,000,000 like that. Overall, solid episode. Good mystery. Although I kind of gave it away. But please check out the episode. Solid episode. Anyway, then we have something different. Steve Urkel. Like I said, Jaleel White reprises his role the first time in over 20 years, I believe, that he's reprised Steve Urkel. I haven't really seen the show that he's from, but I know a little bit about the character. He's apparently the annoying neighbor, basically the Scrappy-Doo of the show that he was on, and he just kind of blew up in popularity and kind of took over the show. It kind of became more centered on him. He's like this uber nerd. And he talks in this squeaky, annoying voice, and everybody hates him. And he's about as clumsy as Archie Andrews. But the gang is in Chicago, just kind of going about their business, but they're curious about these reports of a robot running around and causing havoc amongst the city. And then it leads to this interesting car chase where the robot is chasing the mystery machine down, going, "Rah! I'm going to get you! Rah!" Because the robot is designed after Urkel. It's an Urkel bot. And then they lose the Urkel bot, and then they run into Urkel, and oh my goodness, I love this guy. He's annoying, but it's just so funny. Especially because he comes in, trips up, and he's like, "Got any cheese?" And then they're just like, who are you?" "I'm Stephen Urkel, although you can call me by my many other names." And then he comes up with a bunch of puns, and he's like, "And also Hercules, get it? It's like Hercules, but with my name in it. Feel those guns." And Daphne just touches it. "Ah!" Ow! And a nice touch is in real life, Jaleel White is a huge fan of the Scooby-Doo series and a huge fan of the show. And they kind of bring that into his character here with Urkel, who recognizes the gang. He's like, hey, you're those famous teenage mystery solvers. And then he talks a little bit about each of them. I mean, for Fred and Daphne, he lists like cases that they've solved. But then for Velma, he's like, Velma, your glasses correct your lazy eye and your astigmatism. Shaggy, you wear green shirts. Scooby, you're a dog.
He knows for everything about us.
And then he wants to investigate with them to find his missing robot because it's his robot that he designed after himself. And the gang tried to turn him away. Which I imagine is something like how the main characters of the family that he was annoying in the Family Matters show probably tried to get rid of him. They're just like, we normally solve cases alone, because you see, how do we put this nicely? And then Shaggy, brutal honesty, you're annoying. Like, you're annoying, man. I'm not annoying. Please, please. And then you keep saying please. It's just annoying. Then they chase it down to this museum that apparently Urkel like donated it to. Another solid mystery that they built up in this episode, because there's a lot of potential suspects given Urkel's less than positive reputation. Because everybody at that museum has like some sort of beef with Urkel because of his clumsiness and, always destroying things. And Velma's just like, wow, I'm really impressed. We have more than 3 suspects so far, and we don't even know what the mystery is. You're welcome. But then they kind of had to ruin it, because there's this one character that has a different attitude, and right off the bat I'm just like, okay, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. They're playing it off as not having an issue with Urkel, but they're the bad guy. Yeah. But we get a lot of funny moments with Urkel, like showing the gang like his inventions to try to help them, and it just makes things worse because he's like Archie Andrews level of just clumsy. And there's a reason why the director of the museum wants Urkel out. Although he lets him stay by, because the more he wrecks up, the more evidence he has to get rid of Urkel for good. But it's all a mystery. They get chased by these other robots and this Technomancer, which has like a really cool callback design. It looks like one of the giggling green ghosts, like from one of the classic episodes of Scooby-Doo. I think A Night of Fright is No Delight, which they also used for the Scooby Natural crossover. It looks like one of those giggling green ghosts, but instead of being pure green, it has like a bunch of 1s and 0s. It calls itself the Technomancer. It kind of just wants the gang and Urkel out of the museum. And we get another really cool moment with Urkel showing off like this invention. He gives like Velma like this remote control to automatically retrieve her glasses whenever she inevitably loses them. And it's like how in Iron Man 3 when Tony built like the suit and had like all the parts designed to where they'll fly and attach to him. And you know how in Iron Man 3 Tony needed to tone that down because metal parts moving at you at high speed, dangerous. And so you see the glasses like flying around and like breaking things. And then Velma later uses it to her advantage when there's robots chasing them and she doesn't have her glasses. She's like, oh! The glasses come flying and just break the robots. Oh, that worked, Urkel. Thanks. Yes. Oh, and I mean, this is just a lot of fun moments, and And then they kind of figure out the mystery, and then Urkel has an idea to like trap him, and then he upgrades the Urkel bot to become like more buff, and then he starts fighting like the other robots with just nerdy puns. I I was reading a book about anti-gravity. I can't put it down. Too nerdy, does not compute! And then they start chasing the Technomancer throughout the city. Urkel rides on like the Urkel bot because it's like souped up with like rockets and everything, and then they grab Shaggy and Scooby. And then they're like chasing the Technomancer who's like driving this truck. He's like, once we get in front of him, we can press this oil slick button and it'll trip him up just like so. Boop. And then it accidentally uses the oil slick on the mystery machine behind them. Scooby, what do you do?
Did I do that?
Oh, but I don't. Very fun. I just love this episode. It's probably one of my favorites of like the entire series so far. It just ends with Urkel doing one last thing, like the museum like thanks him because you know what the guy was after was like it ended up being very lucrative for the museum, and he just drops his beef with Urkel. He's like, I don't care. The museum's rich now. Thanks, Urkel. And then of course, but Urkel has to mess it up, and he does something to the mystery machine, and then just leaves, causing Fred to just go Urkel. I just love seeing Fred just be the butt a couple times throughout this series. It's just fun. It's just fun. Overall, solid episodes. Really recommend you checking them out if you haven't already. Hope I didn't ruin it too much for you guys. But thank you so much for watching. I love talking about Scooby-Doo and Guess Who and just about anything Scooby-Doo, really. I don't really know about these upcoming episodes. They got some comedians to guest star. I don't really know them too well, but we still have Weird Al Yankovic to look forward to, and the season finale, Batman. But that's a little bit of a ways from now. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time, and until then, Scooby-Dooby-Doo!